Today I'm sharing a few different things mixed together. First thing I'm going to share about is fascia from the body. There was a summit I was attending a couple years ago. So Dr. Ralf not Rolf, like Rolfing, Dr. Ralf on fascia, he said, I can't remember. Fascia holds scars, it holds tensions, tightness, and absorbs shock and compression, and it could get stuck, and it can have widespread effects since our connective tissue. And it affects many systems when it's not letting go of overworking moments of threat, of anger, of lack of support, insecurity, dooming over, operations, illness, overloadedness. So in other words, there's this flexible body, not the muscles, not the bones and ligaments, but this stretchy, sort of elastic and fluid body that we have, and it holds memory, and it's a lot of liquid in it, but it is more of like a stretchy material. Think about it when you have like a slime or a gummy sort of texture, and then when you have a deformity in your body, there's 4 steps out of whack. Something's happening that shouldn't, or something's not happening that should. So these are necessary because 1, collagen has 2, primary expression, 3, secondary, and 4, tertiary structure in its developmental process. So for the fact that there's a collagen being produced, then its primary, secondary, and tertiary structure is not working out. It ends up with, after these 4 steps, a developmental process. So we want to get to the root, or we have to figure out if it's the first, the primary, the secondary, the tertiary structure. Gina Bria, who I was inspired by her talk. She was on the Fascia and Pain Summit I mentioned. She was talking about hydration, that body-wide is like, we have this like cytoplasmic, like cytoplasma, like plasma, like an interior that's kind of like the inside of a cell that's electrically charged. And it's a connecting, like a gel really, between all the parts. And this plasma is like the state or the phase of water that in our system and in systems in general, it draws on the information. It stores as memories on file, like in the gel, with the backup to the network flow, giving it the potential to make tissues from the programs that reflect the past that it carries for us since birth, literally since we're formed. We start as a tongue and fascia. There's a lot of people who say that we have to do tongue work, like, I forget the technical name at the moment. I'm a little tired, but or not tired, like my brain is a little numb or cloudy today. And so there's work with the tongue. It's like, anyway, apparently it goes down to our hips. So membranes are made of cells that have a cytoplasm. These are like edge barriers that surround sort of like exterior wall. The plasma condition will conduct more charge than the water we know in liquid condition. Sort of like a not dehydrated, it's like a thicker liquid, like slurry almost, much thicker than a slurry, like a gel, like a plasma. Motion and movement relieves and alleviates it because it patterns according to the natural flow of healing or currency. It's literally a flow, which is electricity in motion, energy, not staying stagnant or getting stuck. Another thing is sunshine phase shifts the liquid H2O to become plasma H2O. The solar balancing will properly ionize our water we intake. So we're drinking water. We want it to go into our fascia, but not be in the water state. We want it to go in the plasma state. The sun, I think it's that it takes a hydrogen, which is a positive charged, and adds it. So instead of H2O, it becomes H3O. So the sun will do that, getting sunshine. And I find literally, like when I'm in the sun, it feels like all the junk DNA is like getting like cleared away. It's cleaned by the sunlight. We are in a fluid state of home. Sticks, like, think of our body in a different way. We're in a fluid state of home. We have these sticks to walk on land, which are our bones inside us, as many tiny plasma water bags. We are not a bag of water or muscles hanging on bones. It's like all these separate pieces. In terms of new perspectives, like I mentioned, seeing the body in a different way. So when I was doing this fascia work, I realized I was unlocking different, through memories, through ideas, through programming. So first of all, I was unlocking like new perspectives or revisiting old ones, and then recognizing that I've matured, I've grown, and I can see things differently. First of all, I don't get back time with loved ones. We don't always get a second chance, and each person is good in their own way and brings blessing and is irreplaceable. It deserves their presence, the beneficence of their presence, to be seen while it's still around. And not only the fondness of them spawned from the absence, like they say, absence makes the heart grow fonder. People change, it really never stays the same. It's worthwhile to be present, open, and caring, and patient in the moment in order not to reflect with regret. Because being here now is the best way to truly relate properly and sets up that healthy bonding from a real center with the space for individuals and unified in a forward direction. Nobody else knows what I need. They can make educated guesses and vice versa, can try to just meet people. But like, if I'm stuck and they're trying to thaw me out so they can just show me where I can unclench, where I forgot to warm up, to newness, to fluidity, to adapting, flow. And then we get triggered. We're not allowing that, like, melting from the stuckness. It's like rigid, like, no. We could be in pain because of it. And the fourth one was that I wrote, and I recommend this practice, getting into your fascia and then learning new things. When you become more flexible and your gel rather than just bones and water. Or like muscles and bones and water. No, we have like this in-between state, which is connecting everything. The last one, as I mentioned, I can trust the truth more than when someone tries to protect me from the truth. Like, I remember there was someone close to me, his name is Michael. I felt that he stopped feeling certain things with me, but didn't want to hurt me, or that I should know. And he started feeling certain things and didn't want me to know, and vice versa. Like, there was different stages where the truth was he wasn't interested in being close, and there were other times where the truth was he was. So rather than try to be protected from it, the truth actually is what allows the most flexibility in terms of choice. And now I want to bring in like a Jewish concept of this middle space. That's not this or that. We learn about this from what's called Chol HaMoed. Chol means weekday and Moed means appointed. So it's like, we're calling it like a special weekday. Well, it's like an appointed mundane. How could we say that something mundane, a regular weekday, is something special? Well, because it comes out during the period of a holiday where there's a membrane, there's two holy days called holy days, good holy days. And then in between, you have a period which is not a regular weekday. Here's what we call Chol HaMoed. So Moed, from Chol HaMoed, or it's said Moed, is an appointed time for the season or for assembly, a festival. And we use it for different things. Divine reflecting, you're not supposed to work unless you have to, like for money. Remembering and focusing on the source of strength. Usually there's a theme, like is it the festival of ingathering, festival of liberation, festival of receiving the Torah, and there's one in the spring, one in the summer, and one in the winter, or one in the fall, really. So it's about love and holiness, right? And there's also this repetition every year at the appointed time. So it's like a cycle each year. We feast. It's like Shabbat, like Yom Tov, even though it's Chol HaMoed. Freedom and salvation and liberation is Pesach. Unification, transcendence, nullification is Sukkot. Are encushioned back to back with Yom Tov days. And then the third one I mentioned doesn't actually have Chol HaMoed. I think I was confused for a moment, but those are the two that have Chol HaMoed. But the third holiday I mentioned in the summer does not have Chol Hamoed. It's only a 2-day holiday called Shavuos, the weeks, but it comes after. I was thinking of the Omer, which is not quite Chol Hamoed. It's more of a regular day, but we do every single day for 7 weeks of 7 days each, special practice and counting. And so there's really those two. But just because there's not Chol Hamoed doesn't mean there isn't Moed. So we have many Moeds. We have the fall Moedim, full plural of Moed in Hebrew is Moedim, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, and then we have Sukkot, which includes a Chol Hamoed. Then we have the spring Moedim, which is Shavuot, like I mentioned. It's also called Yom HaBikurim, or the first, like the first fruits. Chag HaMatzot, which is Pesach, I mentioned about that. And Pesach also has a Chol Hamoed. So there's these preset signals and signs prior to the appointed time. And this is like inspired by how on Quantum Torah's website, there's this delving deeper as a middle space. Not exactly the sacred and not exactly the mundane. And I'll stop here and wish you a blessed evening. Bye.